Christmas! Christmas is here, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you'll all have fantastic days with friends and family. Here's my gift to you. The long-awaited part 4 of my Creepypasta debunking series. You all know the drill. I tell you the story and then I debunk it. Now, since it's been very long since part 3, I will unfortunately not be including the names of those who have suggested today's stories, as it's pretty hard to keep up with all of these comments. I hope you understand. Also, quick little shout out to one of my fans, Lily, who is trying to lose weight but doesn't feel motivated to do so. I believe in you, Lily. Guys, go down in the comments and cheer Lily on. She needs it. Thank you. Now then, here we go, part 4 on Christmas Day. Let's begin with Robert the Doll. Now, contrary to popular creepypasta community belief, I do not consider Robert the Doll a creepypasta, as he was known long before the term creepypasta even existed, and was even the inspiration for characters like Chucky from Child's Play. So in my eyes, Robert the Doll is not a creepypasta. The creepypasta story that was made around him is simply fiction. But you guys thought I should cover him, so I'm gonna do it anyways. Robert is an old doll, once owned by painter and author Robert Eugene Otto. According to some, Eugene was given the doll in 1906 by a servant skilled in black magic and voodoo, who was displeased with Eugene's family. After a while, Eugene's parents claimed Eugene was speaking to the doll, and the doll spoke back. Neighbors claimed they could see the doll move from window to window when the family was out, and the doll would sometimes even let out a terrifying giggle. The family would even see it running from room to room from time to time. Sometimes, Eugene would scream in the middle of the night, and when his parents ran to the room, furniture would be knocked over, and Eugene would look visibly afraid. His response was always the same. Robert did it. Guests who visited the house also claimed the doll's expressions would change in front of their eyes, and that it sometimes even blinked. When Eugene died in 1974, the doll was left in the attic until the house was bought again. The 10-year-old girl of the newly moved-in family became Robert's new owner, and soon enough, she began screaming in the night, claiming the doll moved around the room, and even attempted to attack her numerous times. More than 30 years later, the woman still tells interviewers that the doll was alive and in fact wanted to kill her. The doll is currently located at the East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida, and tourists and visitors have also claimed Robert has been quietly observing them when walking past him, and whenever someone tries to take a picture of him, Robert's expression would turn angry. Well, holy hell, I'm getting creeped out by the story myself. Just look at that doll. Jesus. This urban legend is fantastic in my opinion, and very interesting. I also love the fact that the doll actually exists, and that anyone can visit him. It's great. But is it actually real, or simply a spooky story? That's the thing. Nobody knows. Not even me. With creepypastas, it's almost always obvious, at least from my point of view, that things aren't real. But like stated before, this is not a creepypasta, which makes it all the more believable. All instances of Robert moving or doing paranormal stuff are from people claiming they saw him do it. Could it be because he actually did it, or because those observing him let their imagination flow? That's something I cannot answer, as I haven't seen the doll myself. I'd love to someday though. That'd be amazing. The only solid argument I can think of is the fact that Robert has not legitimately moved on camera, ever. If we'd get some photographic or video evidence, I'd squeal in joy, poop my pants. Spooky stuff. This is a disturbing one. Normalpornfornormalpeople.com tells us of an obscure, pretentious, and incredibly messed up website known as, once again, normalpornfornormalpeople.com. The videos on this site are uncomfortably creepy, nonsensical, and mind-boggling. The videos had no clear messages, and were rarely related to anything sexual in any way. One video showed a woman licking a dishwasher. One showed an older woman making out with a mannequin before cutting to a shot of numerous mannequins huddled together around the camera, and the last video that was ever released on the site showed a woman, tied up to a mattress, getting brutally mauled by a chimpanzee with its hair shaven and entire body painted red. 3 days after this video was released, the site closed down. Nowadays, if you go to the website, an actual webpage can be found, with numerous videos available for your viewing pleasure. Ignore the fact that they're made in Windows Movie Maker though. This fuels the story further, and pushes the envelope of it being real or not. But rest assured, it's unfortunately not. The story is really good, as it really makes you feel cold and isolated, but is so fantastically written that I don't mind it. But hey, the fact that if one begins discussing the site anywhere on the web, they immediately get blocked, pushes the believability of the story. Rather convenient, isn't it? Also, if such a website really existed, why didn't no one ever contact authorities about it? Still, it's a great story. I love it. I don't like this story. You guys should know this. But hey, you suggested it. Might as well get it over with. I'm gonna cover 2 stories regarding Jane. The first one, Jane's letter, is a letter written by the alleged Jane the Killer, who tells Jeff that she's coming for him and that she's gonna kill him and yada yada yada. First of all, what the hell is supposed to be scary about that? And Jane is the biggest freaking hypocrite in the world. She kills people, just like Jeff, because she hates Jeff and wants him dead because he's evil. I'm not even gonna try. And because Jeff actually doesn't exist, like I established in part 3, which anyone with a brain cell should be able to figure out, Jane has no reason to exist either. The second story details how Jane retells the story of how she became the way she became. Apparently, she lived close to where Jeff lived, yeah right, and after a whole bunch of bullshit, Jeff lights Jane on fire in order to make her quote-unquote beautiful, because apparently Jeff does that now. Jane wakes up in the hospital and is brown and not white like how Jeff intended. Therefore, the dumbass sent Jeff clothes, a white mask, and a knife. Is there a racial subtext to this? And tells Jane he's sorry because he couldn't make her beautiful. Real smart move there, Jeff. You fucking idiot. Anyways, Jane then escapes and swears her revenge on Jeff and No, Jane's not real. I don't want to talk about her anymore. It's a god-awful Mary Sue self-insert fangirl character and doesn't even deserve to exist. Like many other creepypastas. See what this story does to me? Let's move on before I quit the internet or something. Haha, no. You all know this one, right? Mario tells the story of a very strange ROM hack for Super Mario World that was released to the SMW forums. The hack itself could be interpreted in many ways, and the author came to the conclusion that Mario was in a hell of his own, damned because of his evil ways, and stuck on the brink of death forever. The hack also came with a TXT file, and when converted to JPEG, the forum users were presented with this lovely image. Pretty scary, huh? And you wanna know the worst part? There's nothing for me to debunk! The story is actually completely true, written by the author, Adam, while he played through the hack. Adam soon contacted the creator of the hack and even talked to him. Adam claimed he was in fact a rather friendly guy. Nothing weird about him in the slightest. And the photo? No one actually knows what the real photo is. The reason this photo always gets associated with the story is because when the forum user converted the TXT file into JPEG, was presented with an image that was barely visible. He toyed around a bit and decided to Google the image's resolution, which was 327 by 277. The second image result was the famous picture that has haunted our nightmares ever since. So yeah, the story is real, the photo is a 50-50 story though. I'm getting a bit tired just retelling these stories all the time. But you all know this one too, right? Creepy computer game, scary chef guy, high-pitched sounds, 5th level, crashes and gory pictures, etc, etc. Thing is it real? You all know the answer to that one. If a game as creepy as this one ever existed, and if almost every child playing the game had nightmares about it, and if it had such loud noises in it that it caused damage to the ears, are you sure no one would take legal actions against it? You sure no one would dig through the game's files to find out what caused it? Also, the story states that the game didn't sell well for obvious reasons, and that it remained obscure for quite some time. Well, if the game did cause nightmares and damage, it would be pulled off the shelves immediately. Just look at the Breaking Bad action figures. They were pulled from store shelves just because it was from an adult television show. Now that's pretty drastic. When the author of this story finds a bootleg Pokemon game at a flea market titled Pokemon Black, years before the release of the actual Pokemon Black, strange things start to occur. The game itself lets you train your very own ghost, who had only one attack, namely Curse. This attack caused the game to fade to black for a moment, followed by a lower-pitched screech of the Pokemon you were fighting. When the battle screen returned, the Pokemon would be missing. The player would then have the option of using this curse again, or running away, and if one chose to use Curse, the battle would end, and the sprite of the character you previously battled would also be missing, now replaced with a tombstone. Using this attack made the game incredibly easy, and after beating the Elite Four, the screen would simply fade to black. Text would appear saying, "Many years later." The screen would fade back in, and would show an old man standing in the Pokemon Tower in, where else? Lavender Town. The man is, in fact, the player character, thinking back to all those who he had cursed. The man moved at half the normal speed of walking in the game. You had no Pokemon, and the overworld would be entirely empty, minus the tombstones of cursed trainers. Wherever you went, the Lavender Town song was the only music playing. If you then made your way back to Pallet Town, and positioned yourself in the exact spot where your adventure had begun, the screen once again faded to black. The screen would then show all trainers and Pokemon you had cursed throughout the game, while the Lavender Town song slowly decreased in pitch until it was little more than a demonic rumble. Afterwards, a battle would engage with your old Pokemon, Ghost. You had no Pokemon and instead battled yourself, but the only attack available was Struggle. If you used this attack, your HP would slowly go down. When it was Ghost's turn to attack, it would simply do nothing. Once your HP reached 1, Ghost would finally use Curse, and the game faded to black one last time. The screen would stay black unless you turned off the Game Boy and turned it back on again. Your save file would then have been deleted. The author closes off by stating he's not sure what message the hack was trying to convey. Perhaps it was about the inevitability of death, the pointlessness of it, or perhaps it was just attempting to inject death and darkness into a children's game. The answer is still unclear to this day. Now then, this story is pretty awesome in my opinion, but is it real? Well, it's very convenient how the author lost his cartridge when he moved 2 years ago. It's almost as if he made it vague on purpose. A hack like that belongs in a museum. Also, I'd love to see some real gameplay of this thing, and not just fan games and such, because as it stands right now, no one owns a real version of the game. Now that's too bad. Well then, I think that'll be enough for now. It's good to be back with doing this again. What pastas should I cover next? Leave your suggestions below. Thanks for watching everyone, and thank you for almost 38,000 subscribers. You guys are unbelievable. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas everyone, and a Happy New Year. This is for 2015.
My daughter tells me you're a man who's good with his hands, Ratchet.
Sir, I swear I never...
The city's laser shield went down during the attack. Now we are defenseless without it.